Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 16th chapter. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons. So, usually people like to have, there's some that like to have a lot of children, right? A whole lot. But if they're ungodly, then they're unprofitable. Okay, it says, though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them. So except they follow after the ways of the Lord, it doesn't matter how many children you have. Okay, don't rejoice in the fact that you have a multitude of children, but the fact that you have children that fear the Lord. Verse 3, trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude, right? For how much they are, you're happy by that. No, for one that is just is better than 1,000. And better is it to die without children than to have them that are ungodly. You see, it'll ruin your life. It's Solomon speaks about that. Okay, but from the perspective of how much damage you do to your parents when you live an ungodly life. Here, this is from the perspective of the parent, right? Don't desire in a multitude of children, because if they're not godly and they are ungodly, that's just going to be hell for you. Verse 4, for by one that hath understanding shall the city be replenished, but the kindred of the wicked shall speedily become desolate. See, so what's that in the 3rd chapter? It mentioned the unwise king destroyeth his people, but the prudence of those that are in authority establish the city. See, so the city will be replenished by the understanding, okay, the one that has understanding, because they know, okay, let's set this up, let's do this, let's not do this, and that preserves the city. But they of the wicked, as it says, quickly become desolate. Many such things have I seen with mine eyes, and mine ears hath heard greater things than these. In the congregation of the ungodly shall a fire be kindled. That's representing the wrath of the Lord. And in a rebellion or rebellious nation, wrath is set on fire. See, so in a rebellious nation, the wrath of the Lord is set on fire to come upon them. He was not pacified toward the old giants who fell away in the strength of their foolishness. And this is referring to the sons of God, right? Going back to Genesis 6. This is not talking about giants as in super tall, supernatural creatures. Now I'm going to read this here in the GNTD, verse 7. It says here, he did not forget those ancient giants who rebelled against him, confident of their own strength. Okay, and they're also likened unto the angels that kept not their first estate. Jude speaks about that, and Peter also speaks about that. Okay, it says here, in verse 8, neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, right? Sodom, Gomorrah, and the neighboring cities, but abhorred them for their pride. He pitied not the people of perdition, who were taken away in their sins, nor the 600,000 footmen who were gathered together in the hardness of their hearts. This is talking about Israel, that generation that provoked the Lord in the wilderness, right? Reading verse 10 in the GNTD, it says, nor on those 600,000 people on the march through the wilderness who gathered together in stubborn rebellion. And if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with him. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. See, so it's a wonder if somebody that is stiff-necked among the people is able to escape without punishment, because mercy and wrath come from the Lord, and nobody escapes the judgment of the Lord. As his mercy is great, so is his correction also. He judgeth a man according to his works. See, so the Lord is merciful, but his judgment is also just as great. And he judgeth a man according to his works. If you do wickedness, you'll be judged accordingly. If you do righteousness, you'll be judged accordingly. The sinner shall not escape with it with his spoils, and the patience of the godly shall not be frustrated. So if you gain through wicked means, whatever you've stolen or whatever you've gained through wicked means, you're not going to escape with that. Judgment is going to catch up to you. Okay, and the patience of the godly will not be frustrated, right? The Lord is going to reward them in due time. He's not going to let their patience and their good works be in vain. Make way for every work of mercy, for every man shall find according to his works. See, so wherever there's room for mercy, go ahead, give that. Because if you do show mercy according to your works, you will find mercy. The Lord hardened Pharaoh that he should not know him, that his powerful works might be known in the world. See, by hardening Pharaoh's heart, Pharaoh rebelled against the Lord, and that gave the opportunity to bring that judgment that the Lord brought. His mercy is manifest to every creature, and he hath separated his light from the darkness with an adamant, right? Meaning that it's like something that's adamant is like unwavering, right? It's hard. Okay, adamant. So, right, it says refusing to be persuaded or change one's mind. And that's the separation, as it says, between light and darkness, right? Even day and night. Say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord. Shall any remember me from above? I shall not be remembered among so many people. For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures? So don't say like, oh, the Lord is going to overlook me because there's so many people on the earth. No. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens, the deep and the earth, and all that therein is, shall be moved when he shall visit, right? Moved at the presence of the Lord. And how does he visit? In this case, with judgment. The mountains also and the foundations of the earth shall be shaken with trembling when the Lord looketh upon them. No heart can think upon these things worthily, and who is able to conceive his ways? So nobody can matter of fact, let's get a precept that will actually explain that. Romans 11:33. Like Paul said, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. The scriptures tell you that in the wisdom of the Lord, he hath laid the foundations of the world. How unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. See? So that's why no heart, no mind can think or comprehend or reason about the works of the Lord worthily. See that? You can try, but he will far exceed. And who is able to conceive or understand or comprehend, his ways? Right? Paul said here, continuing in Romans 11:34, for who hath known the mind of the Lord, or who hath been his counselor? You see? Verse 21, it is a tempest which no man can see, for the most part of his works are hid. All right, and let's take a look at that. Verse 21 in the GNTD, right? This is Sirach 16 and 21. It says here, nobody know it. If I sin and am secretly disloyal, nobody will know it. Yeah, but that doesn't really make sense in terms of this. But here when it says it is a tempest which no man can see, for the most part of his works are hid, right? It's going into the works of the Lord, right? There are certain parts. In fact, today, when you look at the things we do know, whether it's the, however many things have been discovered in the ocean or even the earth itself, that's only a fraction, like a grain of sand in terms of the works of the Lord. The majority of his works are hid, even in ourselves, right? A lot of people don't even know how the human body fully functions, right? To its full extent. You see, so most of the works of the Lord are hid. Verse 2, it says here, who can declare the works of his justice? All right, and the tempest can also go into like the wind, all right, because you can't visibly see it. You can feel it, but you can't visibly see it. It says here, who can declare the works of his justice, or who can endure them? For his covenant is far off, and the trial of all things is in the end. And in other words, who can fully explain, right, God's justice or withstand it? Okay, his covenant, his promises unfold in time, and everything is ultimately tested in the end. Okay, verse 23, he that wanteth understanding, right, or lacketh understanding, will think upon vain things, right? One that lacks understanding, their mind is full of vanity. And a foolish man erring imagineth follies, right? Erring is like to go astray, to sin. My son, hearken unto me and learn knowledge, and mark my words with thy heart, right? So take note of my words in your mind, in your heart. I will shew forth doctrine in weight and declare his knowledge exactly. The works of the Lord are done in judgment from the beginning, and from the time he made them, he disposed the parts thereof. Reading this in the GNTD, it says, in the beginning, the Lord did his work of creation and gave everything a place of its own. Now I'm going to read 26 to, I'll just read it through to 30, and then we'll read in the GNTD because it's actually a bit clearer there. So it says here, the works of the Lord are done in judgment. We just read that, verse 27. He garnished his works forever, and in his hand are the chief of them unto all generations. They neither labor nor are weary, nor cease from their works. None of them hindereth another, and they shall never disobey his word. After this the Lord looked upon the earth and filled it with his blessings. With all manner of living things hath he covered the face thereof, and there, the face of the earth that is, and there shall they, and they shall return into it again. And that's talking about death. So reading this in the GNTD from verse 26, it says, in the beginning the Lord did his work of creation and gave everything a place of its own. He arranged everything in an eternal order and decreed that it should be that way forever. Right, he has set the bounds of the sea, right? He has set the foundation of the earth. Not one part of creation ever grows hungry. No part grows tired or stops its work. The sun, that you ain't gonna have a day where the sun is like, I'm tired today, I'm not going out. And the moon is like, yeah, I'm calling out too. And the stars are like, well, I called out last week. No. It says the parts do not crowd one another, and they never disobey his word. When the Lord had made all this, he looked at the earth and filled it with good things. He covered it with all kinds of creatures that must die and return to the dust. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 16th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And till next time, Shalom.